Hello ladies and gents, Simon Gunn from Jelly Fitness. How are we all? Right, today is Tuesday the 12th of May and yesterday a 55-page document from the government was released about how to implement stages for the next few months. Okay, now this document obviously contains a hell of a lot and I've read it in its entirety twice and made lots of notes. Now then, like any document ladies and gents, you have to take the document in its entirety and in what context it is trying to talk about. Like most things, you can take a sentence completely out of context and make that work for your own gain if you wish. It happens all the time, especially in the fitness industry. Let's take an example. You can drink goat's urine to lose weight. Okay, that was been pulled out. That is not an actual line. That's just me making it up. But if that was a sentence that was in a 10,000 word document of something similar to this and was picked up and dumped onto a headline, oh my God, if you drink goat's urine, you can lose weight. Oh. In its context, it probably doesn't mean that in the slightest, but it's one line that suits somebody's needs. Okay, now what does this document mean? Basically, it clearly outlines that we can't conduct boot camp back on the field. That is clear, okay? What isn't so clear is whether we can conduct one-to-one personal training. Now then, like I say, I've read this in its entirety. I've also spoken to my peers and Jacqueline and Sarah, and we've all come to the same conclusion. Before I go into that, I want you just to read a few extracts. Very simple, nothing too much. To successfully keep the R below 1, we have little room for manoeuvre. The virus is difficult to detect. Some people carrying the disease are asymptomatic, which basically means they can spread the virus without knowing. The government plan depends on a very high continued level of compliance. For the foreseeable future, workers should continue to work from home rather than their normal physical workplace where possible. And all workers who cannot work from home should travel to work if their workplace is open. Now then, this is the little bit here, okay? This is the sentence that's going to create a big problem in the industry. Public spaces. SAGE advised that the risk of infection outside is significantly lower than inside. So the government is updating the rules so that, as well as exercise, people can now also spend time outdoors, subject to not meeting up with any more than one person from outside your household. Continue compliance with social distancing guidelines to remain 2 meters away from anyone outside your household. Good hygiene, particularly with respect to shared surfaces, and those responsible for public places being able to put appropriate measures into place following the new COVID secure guidelines. That's the one there, isn't it, ladies and gents? It's going to spark the interest for one-to-one PT. You can meet up to one person outside of your household. That sentence there does not say daily or at a time. So you could interpret it in slightly different ways. But if you go back to the document in its entirety, the number of social contacts people make each day must continue to be limited. The fewer contacts, the lower the risk. While reopening outdoor space and activities comes early in the roadmap, because the risk of transmission outdoors is significantly lower, it's aimed at people just walking and doing exercise in their household. Now, if we take a one-to-one client, for instance, and we're going to get their heart rates up and they're going to do lots of star jumps and running on the spot or whatever it might be, outdoors, the risk is significantly lower, yes. However, what we can't control is things like wind that pass that vapour on. Now, we might stand 2 meters aside, and it actually also says not to be face to face and go to the side where possible. So if we were 2 meters away from our client, doing lots of star jumps, getting hot and sweaty and bothered, and the wind picks up and just gently carries that over and lands on us or lands on someone else, that isn't particularly brilliant. Bearing in mind what I've just said about someone could be asymptomatic, which basically means they don't know if they're infectious. See where we start going into a world of unknown. So Many measures require the development of new safety guidelines that set out how each type of physical space can be adapted to work safely. Now, I'm pretty good at my job, and I like to say I'm pretty good at a lot of things, but I am not very good at controlling wind. So, with that in mind, ladies and gents, and for the respect of other people, respect of the wider community, respect of ourselves, and for the family members that we have been having to shield for the last 8 weeks, we are not about the money. We could interpret this and use this for our own gain and say, yes, let's go and get on the field and start training clients. But ladies and gents, for the foreseeable future, we are not. Now then, this is obviously not great news, but we have done this for 8 weeks so far. We as a family, myself and Jacqueline, have people that are in a vulnerable position. We've got things going off in our family that we need to protect, and we have done very, very well for the last 8 weeks. Sarah is also the same. For the moment, we are not going to be conducting one-to-one PT. We are doing it via Zoom, FaceTime, this sort of thing. This works really well. And going back to what it said earlier, for the foreseeable future, workers should continue to work from home rather than their normal physical workplace where possible. And we can and are very successfully managing one-to-one PT via the communication of video links. So therefore, ladies and gents, for the foreseeable future, until anything changes otherwise, we will not be conducting one-to-one PT, myself, Sarah, or Jacqueline. We know this is not the best news and this is not what you want to hear, but there are lots of things that you can do, ladies and gents, and we are here to help you do that in a safe and practical manner. Remember, it is the respect of each other, the wider community, the NHS, and our families. We've not seen our family members that are shielded for over 8 weeks. It wouldn't be particularly brilliant to then go and see clients when we can't see our family. Not the greatest news that you would like to hear. However, there are other things that we can discuss if you want to talk about it further. Have a great day. Don't let this get too stressed with all what's going off. If you want to read the document, I've already posted a link on my personal page, and I might even put it in the comments as well. It is actually a really good read. But like I say, ladies and gents, read it in its entirety, not just out of context. Have a great day. Hopefully we'll see you soon.